Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. You join me down at the farm. I've got another cheap car for the channel. In my quest for buying lots of good quality cars cheaply for upcoming videos, one of them was a Vauxhall Vectra that didn't really meet the mark in the end. You know, I decided I wasn't going to keep it. So it's come down to the farm where the girlfriend sells a few cars, and she's swapped it. I don't normally like to do a swap, especially when you get things like, you get messages like, can I swap your car for an Xbox or a dodgy watch or something? Usually we don't do that, but we hadn't had a huge amount of interest in the Vectra, and she was convinced that the car that was being offered in swap was better than our car. So all I know is it's a Fiat Punto, it's white, and it's a year newer and had less miles. So let's go out and have a look, I suppose. Well, here we are. It looks all right from a distance. Obviously, say it's white, 2009 on an 09 plate, multi-jet, so it's a diesel, which, to be quite honest, is not my favourite type of engine in the world. A Fiat diesel, especially the 1.3s, which is what I imagine this is. But if it runs okay, it runs okay. That's all good. Got a tow bar on there. Not always what you want to see on a hatchback, but I guess it doesn't bother some people. For the price bracket this car's going to be in, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's dirtier on this side. Got a scratch through the paint there. Roof looks okay, glass looks okay. Hard to say what's under there. Let's have a quick look. Tyres, that one's better. That's not as good again. So they're not the best tyres, brand-wise, or depth on them. What have we got? We've got, oh God, Sumitomo on the front. This corner is a Ceylon Attrezzo. It's never good when you've never heard of names of tyres, is it? Another Ceylon Attrezzo. Nice little gouge in there. Oh, look at that. Get that to flick out. On the front, we've got a Maxis, something half decent. Well, there we are. You can tell at least the tyres have been put on for the cheapest options that were available. Right, we've got one key by the looks of it. I assume no service history. See, central locking does not seem to work. Oh, it doesn't unlock. And does the boot? Yeah, the boot works, so probably the button on the circuit board of this key is just knackered. Let's put the key in and well, central locking works, just not remote, so I think we need to have a look at the button on that key. 131,085 miles on the clock, if you can see that. It smells reasonably okay. It's got a nice Squashy's air freshener, fan of those, so can't complain about that. It wants a good clean. Good old rubbish in here. Nothing in the glove box except our USB socket. I wonder if this is Bluetooth, doesn't look like it. A bit early for that maybe. Just grubby. We've got rear mats but no front mats. We've got a fudge, no, just the rubbish. What a letdown. On the whole, it all seems superficial though. It seems pretty tidy, just grubby. Wants a good clean, which is why I'm here picking it up. In the boot, some grubbiness. We've got a light hanging down, but I'm sure we can sort that. Spare wheel, no jack, but we have got the tyre brace, the winding mechanism for the jack, and the towing eye is in there. Doesn't feel damp, doesn't smell damp, so that's a bonus. Let's pop the bonnet quickly and have a look under that. Okay, first impressions, it looks quite clean. The airbox isn't attached. I'm going to take that out and let a mechanic fix that. Got a battery in here I've never heard of. Banner starting ball. It looks reasonably clean, that's a good start. Coolant looks a little low and incredibly weak. Yeah, that is just pure water, so be interesting to see why that is. It could just be that someone's kept topping it up with water, or it could be that it's been losing coolant and they've been topping it up with water. Let's have a look at the oil. That looks okay. No signs of a head gasket there. Absolutely black as the night, that oil, so it definitely needs a good service. Curious to see what the brake fluid looks like. Reasonably clean actually, not too bad. It could have been completely gunked up considering everything else in here. This is like one of those cars where someone cleans it and takes care of it but never services it. Never worries about the mechanical as long as it looks okay. If you open the bonnet and it looks clean, it's a good car. Okay, so let's see how it sounds, especially with that airbox not attached. Get the radio off, get the wipers to stop. How do I do that on this? That way. Actually sounds okay for a Fiat 1.3 multi-jet. No obvious smoke coming out the back, which is always a good start. We might be alright, you know. My luck with Fiat 1.3 multi-jet engines might have changed for once. Let's get it on the road back to the garage and we'll see how it drives. Well, I can already tell that this has probably been a good deal for us. This is definitely a better car than the Vectra that we swapped it with. In pretty much every single way. It's newer, it's got less miles, it's worth more, it's in better condition. It's probably even quicker. Which sometimes makes you wonder why people do want to swap cars. They want to swap from one thing to another with no money involved whatsoever. Why do people seem to want to downgrade? But the chap needed a bigger car. He was dead set on having that Vectra. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. I guess there are deals to be had swapping up. Some people do that exclusively, don't they? They buy a cheap car and they swap up until they get to something better. But it's not usually my bag. I like to see some cash involved if I can. But I don't think we'll have too much trouble selling this one. Everything seems to work. The air conditioning's good. All the electric windows work. It hasn't got cruise control sadly, but yeah, I can't really say much about it. It definitely wants tracking. It's pulling across to the left if you let go of the steering wheel. There is a bit of camber on this road, but I can tell that that's definitely more than that. I'm used to this road. I'm used to knowing what it does. So it's definitely pulling to the left a little bit. It's probably going to want a quick check over in the workshop. It might even want some tyres, but on the whole, it seems like a decent little car for what probably owes us about 600 quid. Sophie's done all right. I'm not going to have to kick her out of the house tonight to sleep in the garage, so that's a bonus. Need to look at the button on the remote key fob, get that working, clean it up, and I think we'll have a decent little hatchback here. It's going to suit someone anyway. I mean, it's not my sort of car. It's incredibly boring, but it serves a purpose. And for the price range, I don't know what this will probably sell for. Maybe 1,500 quid, maybe even 2,000. I don't really know off the top of my head, but certainly a lot more than we paid for it. So there's definitely good profit in this car. from the Vectra. We'll get more for this car than we would have done for the Vectra, so it's just like a little bit of a Brucey bonus, I guess. By swapping up, we've got something, we've sort of delayed the payment or getting a return on it, hopefully for a bigger one. Of course, we need to check it over, and I don't even know how much MOT this car's got. We need to sort that sort of thing. So I shouldn't count my chickens before they've laid, or eggs before my hens. I shouldn't be counting chickens or eggs just yet, or putting them all in one basket. But I think we're going to do all right. It's funny because usually when you do a trade like this, especially lower value cars, and someone's desperate to have your car, you tend to expect their car to be absolutely knackered and they're getting out of it for a reason. Well, I can't really see anything too much wrong with this. It actually handles really well. I expected the suspension to be knocking like crazy every bump I went over, but it's not. Like I say, it wants some tracking, so it's probably had a bit of a bump at some point, but it's certainly not unpredictably pulling. So it just, you know, for the sake of 20 quid, the tracking will be done. It wants some fresh coolant for sure. I don't think it looks like it's got a head gasket issue or anything like that. I just think someone's just been topping it up with water. And yeah, they just don't really know that it needs to have coolant, I guess. So we can certainly sort that. I don't even know if this has got history, but let's assume it hasn't. So we're going to give it a service as well. Make sure that we know that it's got good fluids and everything in the engine. The tyres all look at least legal, if not, you know, necessarily good quality or matching. But again, it's a cheap car. A lot of people don't really care. Nothing we're going to need to worry about, hopefully. I'm struggling to think of things to say about this car, really. It is a bit of a basic car. I mean, they are actually really popular, and if this was lower mileage and had good history, it's the sort of thing I'd quite happily have on my forecourt as one of the cheaper end cars. You always got someone who's looking for a cheap car, especially if it's something nice and reliable, and a white Fiat is attractive to most people who don't know about Italian cars, I guess. And I don't think this will take very long to sell at all. So overall, I am very happy with the deal. Let me know what you think. 600 quid, I think that's a pretty good deal, but let me know what you think. Please do like the video, it really helps out trying to get the channel going. And yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.